Hello there, my name is Davis, and welcome back to the Real Valladolid Career Mode series. We've got a tricky game away to Barcelona today, a very difficult one actually, considering our run of form. Last episode started the season, kicked it off with 2 draws unfortunately. First game we played relatively well, could have came away with the 3 points, but the last game out against Valencia was a bit of a shambles. Only created 2 chances all game and came away luckily with only a 1-1 draw. Could have been much worse though. Paired alongside the departure of one of our best centre-backs last season in Yaquin. Everton paid the release clause for him, so he's gone out the window with that in the back of our mind following this game. Being transfer deadline day, we need a replacement centre-back to back up the main partnership currently. Makes it a difficult trip indeed. We'll have Big Neil on the sidelines and Gia and the boys up in the changing rooms, and hopefully we can get the job done and hopefully come away with at least 1 point. A loss would leave us in some hot water, to be honest. So hopefully we can do something here. Following the performance against Valencia, I've gone back to the original formation. I don't know what it was about the 4-2-2, but it just didn't work. Maybe it was just that game. But we've gone back to the 4-2-3-1, full strength side once again. And Tavares makes his first team debut for us, signing only a couple of days ago. Bit of a baptism of fire for him. Going to be marking, I assume, Lionel Messi out on that right wing, so all the best to him. Hopefully he can do some form of a job for us. And yeah, we do have Kubo on the bench. I imagine I'll swap him out for Ben Arthur eventually. Maybe bring David into that centre attacking mid spot and change around a little bit like that. And yeah, Neil get the boys going, and then hopefully we can put on a performance today.
Enjoy the atmosphere when you go out. Have just a little chat with yourselves before the fucking game, and I want us to go and give them a game, because this is a game we can fucking win. Hey, we need a bit of luck, but we also got the fucking players. We need Butonga. Come on, let's go now.
Always a tough game at the Camp Nou. I can't remember the final result last season here. I think it was a loss. Hopefully we can put that right. Seen Lionel Messi leading out the Barcelona team. Not sure on the starting 11. Be interested to see that. But hopefully we can focus more on ourselves and get a job done. Gotta keep that man quiet tonight as well. Luis Suarez, always a threat. But we got threats of our own. Tavares. It's first square up against Messi. Unfortunately, they pull it back for a free kick though. Whipped in by Messi, well overhit, thankfully. Another big signing, it looks like. Atletico Madrid bringing in another Englishman alongside Jamie Vardy, John Stones. Jamie Vardy, I think, is top goal scorer at the moment. 3 games in, 5 goals. Not a bad return. No real threats from either side so far. It's been a quiet first 30 minutes. Jonathan David been very quiet so far and not having the best of games. He's yet to hit the ground running really in his Valladolid career. It's a great ball in. And we get away with that one. First chance really. Costa getting beaten in the air by Suarez. Was only able to head it over. We found Renier, that's brilliant. And it's 1-0, come on! Lovely little worked move. You find Renier in behind and he punishes Barcelona. Don't know who that is. Number 15 steps way out. And we're able to find the space in behind. Langley, number 15, he's the one who steps out. And we are 1-0 up. Bang on half time, more or less. Unbelievable time to score. Find Messi on the inside here. We'll find Suarez who gets the shot off and they get a corner. And it's the 4th minute, an extra minute added on. I don't know where the ref's getting this time from. But I'm going to be upset if they score here, which they almost do. Suarez gets in front of every defender. Gets the header off, but it's wide of the post, thankfully. And that is half time. Decent half for us. We've only had the one chance, to be honest. We've got in some dangerous areas, but we've converted. And we've limited all their chances to Suarez headers. So it's been a decent half, to be fair. Neil has liked what he's seen. Done a professional job so far. Hoping for more of the same in the second half. We need to get a second goal because there's no way we're going to keep a clean sheet, I don't think. As soon as they up a gear, we need to match them. Jonathan David just losing possession of the ball. Vital moment. And now it's Tavares up against Leo Messi. He's cut back inside again. He doesn't fancy her in a foot race against Tavares, which I don't blame him. But it's nice to know that Tavares is in his head. A good header away, unable to fully clear. Costa, yeah, he does enough. Usman finds Messi in the box, squares her across, and it's easy as that. A couple of loose passes around on the edge of the box, unable to really get anything under control. They get a little fortunate with our defender falling over. From this, it's a simple goal, a very simple goal to give away. Frankie de Jong, open net more or less. I think it is time for some changes. I think we'll go with Plaza. And Kubo makes way for Waldo makes way for Kubo. We'll put Plaza up top. Play Renier in that cam where he's more suited. And that's about it, I think. Maybe give Tavares a rest. First game, he's done a decent job, really. Got unfortunate falling over for that last goal, but give Apper a run out and look to regain this lead. So who's been playing at right back this game, makes way for Gerard Piqué. He is playing out on our right back slot unless they've gone to a 3 at the back. And that is game. Not a bad game whatsoever. Definitely had chances to take it. The goal we give away was soft, to say the least. But a decent all-round performance, much better than the Valencia game. And we could definitely take positives out of that.
But there's no wrong with that, lads, is there? We're not be fucking far away. I wouldn't want to fucking play us here now. And that's a tough one. Saturday's a tough one and all, innit? Reading's another tough one. Another clean sheet Saturday, Morgs, will do me. If we don't fucking score, we don't score. But we will fucking score, because we've got some good quality there going in. I fucking like what it... We've worked hard tonight, not work any harder than that.
Unfortunately, there's not much time to recap from that Barcelona game. Go straight into a transfer deadline day. And we are in dire need of a backup centre-back. We've only got the 2 current starters, and that is it. Well, we got Allende as well, but he's not someone I really want to call upon, especially with those stats. And there's not really much options in the transfer either. I've asked Neil to pull some strings with one of his former clubs, and hopefully we can get one of them. As you can see, unfortunately, Sergio Lopez didn't fancy it. Didn't fancy coming back to us, so that deal broke down. But we're looking to bring in either Sean Morrison or Curtis Nelson. It's not ideal, but it's what we gotta work with. I'd rather get Sean Morrison, got a high defensive, medium attacking, rather than Curtis Nelson, who's got the other way around. So I'm gonna contact Cardiff and see. Hopefully we can get one of these two in. So I go in for Morrison first. He is my first choice. I prefer the defensive work rates on him. I was going in blind, so I offered 3.8 million as a base, and they snapped my hand off with it, to be fair. So maybe I might have offered a little bit too much for him, but we managed to get it done. Went into his into a meeting with his agent. I wanted to give him rotation, but they were only gonna take Important, unfortunately. So we'll figure a way out to make that work. They wanted 3 years. I only really want him here for 2 years. He's already 29 now, so any more than that, and we'll be losing too much on him. And his wage, they were happy with the wage I offered. Went for around 17,000 and 80,000 sign-on bonus, and they were happy with that. So nice to have a proper experienced player now at the back. Sean Morrison will probably rotate alongside alongside Costa mostly. Costa probably got the better stats. Definitely got much better everything except for defending and physical. But being only 18 years old, he's gonna grow exponentially compared to Morrison, who's only gonna decline really. But it's nice, like I was saying, to have a bit of experience in that back four. Full of youngsters before that, and hopefully we can keep some clean sheets now going forward. So after looking through the team following the signing of Moza, I did realise we were going to be struggling, especially if we got an injury to one of our central midfielders. So it was a bit of a mad scramble towards the end of the transfer deadline day. Put in multiple offers. I went for Victor Camarasa, who unfortunately wanted a crucial role, which I couldn't promise him. So the negotiations broke down there. Went in for Lewis Cook, who was part of a Bournemouth team that apparently got relegated last season. So there's some decent opportunities there potentially if they don't go back up. But unfortunately he was still on Premier League wages and wanted way too much than we could afford. I tried looking towards Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid for some decent loans, like Dani Ceballos and Hector Herrera. Hector Herrera, good player, but the stacked Atletico Madrid midfield, I thought maybe he wouldn't be getting in there. Knocking on 30 as well, but they weren't willing to loan him out. Same for Dani Ceballos. I thought with Real Madrid's midfield, maybe he wouldn't have a look at getting in there, so maybe he'd want to come, but same story really. Sander Berge was one I was looking at, but he was too expensive at the current time. And eventually, I settled for Ethan Ampadu. He's a decent youngster, Welsh youngster, so I know him well personally as a player. And he only had a low release clause that we were able to buy out straight away, and he didn't want too much on per week. We were able to give him the squad rotation role. He'll definitely come in and out. He can play centre back or centre defensive mid, which is brilliant. Gives cover over both of those areas, and I think he can definitely do a job for us. He's got brilliant potential, and one I'll hope to integrate into the first team. So after looking through the team following the signing of Moza, I did realise we were going to be struggling, especially if we got an injury to one of our central midfielders. So it was a bit of a mad scramble towards the end of the transfer deadline day. Put in multiple offers. I went for Victor Camarasa, who unfortunately wanted a crucial role, which I couldn't promise him. So the negotiations broke down there. Went in for Lewis Cook, who was part of a Bournemouth team that apparently got relegated last season. So there's some decent opportunities there potentially if they don't go back up. but unfortunately he was still on Premier League wages and wanted way too much than we could afford. I tried looking towards Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid for some decent loans, like Dani Ceballos and Hector Herrera. Hector Herrera, good player, but the stacked Atletico Madrid midfield, I thought maybe he wouldn't be getting in there. Knocking on 30 as well, but they weren't willing to loan him out. Same for Dani Ceballos. I thought with Real Madrid's midfield, maybe he wouldn't have a look at getting in there, so maybe he'd want to come, but same story really. Sander Berge was one I was looking at, but he was too expensive at the current time. And eventually, I settled for Ethan Ampadu. He's a decent youngster, Welsh youngster, so I know him well personally as a player. And he only had a low release clause that we were able to buy out straight away, and he didn't want too much on a per week. We were able to give him the squad rotation role. He'll definitely come in and out. He can play centre back or centre defensive mid, which is brilliant. Gives cover over both of those areas, and I think he can definitely do a job for us. He's got brilliant potential, and one I'll hope to integrate into the first team. And that was it for the transfer window. We left there with Ampadu signing more or less in the last couple of hours, and we made our way to the next game. I do have to say, on the way to the next game, I think 3 of our youngsters who were in the youth academy, they wanted out. They were threatening to leave if they didn't get out. So a little bit extra players into the club, just in case. We got Castro, the Brazilian striker, can play centre forward or cam as well. Decent looking player, but with the signing of Renier, he's been made a little bit obsolete for now. Maybe if we ever get rid of Plaza, he could be that replacement there. But it doesn't look a terrible player nonetheless. Got decent stats so far. And Prado at centre mid, decent like skill attribute stats. Not the best physicals for a central midfielder, especially with the aggression and the stamina and strength. But it's something that can be worked upon. And finally, Gallardo, the one I'm most looking forward to. 68 rated already, only 17 years old. Can play central midfield or centre defensive midfield. But if he's playing centre defensive midfield, it's going to be as more of a deep lying playmaker. He hasn't really got the defending or physical stats for it yet. But his technical stats are fantastic, to be fair. 88 ball control already. He can finish, he can dribble. His passing stats are decent as well. And I think he's the one with the highest potential out of the 3. So it's nice to have them available now, just in case. 3 games we'll see off the rest of this episode. Should be not too long, this one. A couple of tough games. One tough game potentially in Real Betis the next game, followed by Celta Vigo and then Deportivo Alaves, which will see us nicely up to the Real Sociedad game for next episode. So we'll get into the highlights for those 3 games now. Well, those 3 games, decent run of games to be fair. Started off a little bit slowly. The Real Betis game, Betis with decent value for the draw. To be honest, they probably could have won in the end, but an absolutely monster goal from Renier up top. Gotta be goal of the season. Give him goal of the season, goal of the month, and the Puskas award, because you're not seeing a better goal than that anytime soon. Should be on the screen as we're speaking, and it's one of the best goals I've ever scored on FIFA. Scorpion kick, top bins, keeper's got no chance. Thank you very much. But we took the draw, still unbeaten. Went into the next game against Celta Vigo. Another tricky team, to be fair. They put up a fight, matched us goal for goal up until the last. But in that game, Jonathan David played him central cam, swapped him out for Ben Arthur, and played Kubo on the left attacking mid. And Jonathan David really came into his own in that central role. Absolutely fantastic. A goal and a couple of assists in that one. And then we continued it with the 3-0 win against Alaves. Kept him in that central cam role, and he bagged himself a hat-trick. Fantastic performance. A couple of performances from him after being quite quiet for the early games of the season, but really starting to show his worth now and why we've brought him in. And that takes us up to the Sociedad game, and that will be that for this episode. We sit 8th in the table, with a big chance to go forward next episode. Betis doing well in that 6th place. It's unfortunate to get a draw against them because we would have been level on points with them now. But we would have been ahead of them on points if we'd beaten them. But that's where we want to be. Between that, I can't imagine we'll break into the top 3. They're running away with it already. But between the 5th, 4th is a big shout, but that's within reaching distance. Only 4 points off them. But between 4th and 6th is where we need to be going into the end of the season. But that is that for this episode. If you've liked the episode, bit of a transfer scramble, transfer deadline day rush. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you want to stay up to date with the series, you're more than welcome to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. I have been Davis. Good night.